going to talk about the technology which can be utilized for combating plastic pollution, and we'll go some patenting applications, see the data set, and the best format would be to implement the same in current times, not wait for another 5-10 years, because the damage is already done. If we do on the SWOT analysis, the intervention has to be done right away. So I'll just wait for a couple of minutes before we start. Okay, I'll wait for a couple of more minutes. We are going to talk about some of the technologies which are being utilized to tackle plastic pollution, because that has entered the food chain very deeply right now. Okay, so we are starting with Chinese application, and this is basically talking about the microsoil and the stuff, how okay, so this is actually taking out the microplastic from the soil. So okay, the Chinese application number for the same, I'll just put the details, is CN, C as in Calcutta, N as in nest, 1 not is 0, 9682654. Okay, so I've given the application number. It's a granted application number, irrespective of the fact it is granted or not. We can definitely utilize. This is basically done by a university, and this university is Henan University. So let's rock and roll. So it's a device. Device is something which is handheld. So anything, say for example, this particular device is handheld device. So we generally, whatever we hold in the hand is known as handheld device in the packaging things complex. Okay, so how this device is working, I'll walk you through it I'll talk about the components, elements, the tools, and we'll do it. So it has a ring screen and a filter membrane. See, in any kind of extraction, particularly when this is an offline extraction, this is um, not a data set from the point of view which we are doing online. In the offline extraction, particularly when we're talking about plastic, the size of the plastic can vary from macro, micro to something which is visible to the naked eye. And of course, one is sorting, which is done with the hand, where it is visible to the naked eye. There are times where it cannot be sorted, but you have to use a kind of a filter membrane to get things done. So in this particular case, we have a ring screen and a filter membrane, which is a combination, and it is giving, I would rather say, take it as a system, module, component, and it has three particular applications. So the first application is the mechanical strength under the overflow pressure. So the ring screen in this regard is a rigid circular frame with a mesh. It acts as a load-bearing support. It prevents the thin, flexible filter membrane from stretching, tearing, or collapsing when the peristaltic pump pushes the overflow through at a continuous rate. The size, shape, contouring distributes the hydraulic force evenly so the membrane stays flat and the pore size remains constant. It is very important from the quality check that the pore size of, when you're using any kind of membrane, for that to remain constant, the hydraulic flow or the force has to be even out. Then there's a separation which is two-stage. It has a screen mesh which stops the coarse soil fragments. Only the fine suspension reaches the membrane. Then the membrane itself is chosen or selected from the pore size range of 0.2 to 0.5 micrometer, and then to retain the microplastic fraction. So microplastic, you can understand, the size is quite not visible to the naked eye as such, while letting dissolve the salts and the flotation of liquid pass. So they're swapping the membrane on the same ring size. Now perhaps ring of any sort is utilized in a lot of innovations. From the medical point of view, from the point of view of handling, other requirements globally, if you just go through the landscape of technology. Then there's continuous clog resistant operation. The overflow is gentle and the screen is keeping the larger solid aware. The membrane does not blink. Okay, it's blink. Okay. The runtime cycle is low and cleaning is needed. The ring screen can be lifted out of a cartridge and the membrane is peeled off, replaced in seconds. So the separation tank never has to be emptied. So this is basically, I would rather say in very simple words, it would be short separation time and good separation effect. So it is never in quantitative, it is always qualitative. I mean, any technology, any deployment, any infra, it's never the number game. It is always the quality of what you are providing, to whom you are providing. Before I get into this data set of patenting, a very important thing which I'm reminded of right now is, I was in one of the classes during my entrepreneurship stuff way back in 2013. So in one of the classes, we were given the, you have these assignments and all. So in that class, I still remember that question was, who are your customers? And at that point of time, honestly speaking, I was serving, the large data set from somebody at the top-notch Fortune 10 companies to a startup or somebody who doesn't have any clue in the industry. And I said, everybody is my customer. Oh my gosh. The professor, he bashed me like anything. He was coming from this, I remember, he's coming from the experience of somewhere he worked in the milk industry in some sort of parameter at that point of time, and he bashed at me like anything. And he said like, nobody can be like, everybody can be your customer. That time I thought that he doesn't even understand my field, because my field is totally different. But today, and perhaps during the lockdown, I realized one thing, that yes, it is not quantitative, it has to be qualitative. And what is important is always the main stakeholders or the operators with whom you're operating. So the point here, what I'm trying to make here is, if you are getting into that innovation mindset, even if you're part of the company, maybe you're the TLs, team leader and whatnot, always think of the qualitative part. The quantitative part, it only matters when you are part of some business where you're playing, or your business is, or you're part of an enterprise or something where you're playing on the number game. Don't get into the number game, because right now, uh, in terms of service and goods, and the way after lockdown everything has worked out, AI has taken over everything, perhaps. So what is important is the qualitative. Quantitative is not going to work. So let's get back to the innovation again. It's quite simple in terms of what they are providing, perhaps. um, so solid waste treatment, it can be utilized anywhere and everywhere. You will see perhaps this kind of innovation should not even get an invention status altogether. But it is talking about the microplastic in water environment, and many scholars have made great deal of scientific research in recent years. At present, the research on microplastic pollution at home and abroad is mainly focused on the marine environment, but related research on the microplastic product. So, yeah, we already talked about. We are good with this. Perhaps I'll discuss another one, and then if you have any questions, happy to answer. Um, there's one on pyrolysis. So a lot of enzymes can be utilized for this purpose also. But at the same point of time, understand one thing: when you are using enzyme, or you are using something which is not organic, and you put it into an environment, see, there's something called as control, but control also has zillion parameters. And given the fact, when you put such kind of control enzyme in environment which has zillion parameters, it is next to impossible to state that it won't be disadvantageous. It, at some point of time, any kind of enzyme which you put in the I would rather say in the environment, it will have impact because of the parameters. And just as scientists, we are not able to understand how much degradation can happen in real time. And since we cannot identify the degradation pattern, what is going to happen is, I would rather say, we have to measure the control environment on a regular basis, but the utilization at large is not possible. So that is one thing. Another thing is, uh, stop using the word DPLOY, because suddenly I'm seeing a lot of folks from different industries using this word, and perhaps this has, I would say, denatured. In proteins, we see, anything which is heated is denatured. So it has lost its value. Even the word doesn't even have a positive connotation. It was supposed to be a neutral word. At least in the patenting language, it was neutral enough. But the deployment of this word itself has, I mean, it has become miscommunicated word. So that data garbage thing. Avoid the word deployment or deploy in the coding process. So wherever you're coding, whatever you're coding, don't use the word deploy. Okay, look into this company, Footprint International LLC. Okay, so this company is Footprint International LLC. Still fetching. The result shows, perhaps this is a very broad result. Don't take it as, an exact result. It is just a basic search which states 22 applications. I'm just looking at it from the point of view. Okay, this is nice. So this was granted, published in the year 2023. Apparatus and methods for packaging and shipping wine bottles. Okay. Okay, it's a US application number. US application US 11643268. So look into this. Not that complicated enough, but I'll just walk you through this stuff. Okay. It has a base which is vacuum molded base, cylindrical recess for the bottle bodies. So it is saying bottle as a body, which is little weird, but anyhow, a flat corrugated separator sheet pierced with holes can be orifice with that capture that bottlenecks, a vacuum molded cap that encloses the protruding necks, all of which are held inside a standard corrugated outer box. What is the goal? The goal is to immobilize each bottle at both the body and the neck so the pack can withstand shipping shocks without additional damage. Okay, perhaps I can talk about it in terms of design. If you have any question, happy to answer. Otherwise, I'll just switch off this live video for now. I'll do the coding accordingly because again, from the packaging point of view, we cannot use this 3-letter word map, which is modified atmospheric packaging, which was done way back. We have to think of something else given the data set right now, because I think that is way back. I mean, MAP I saw way back when I was in school, so it's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, more than 2 decades or 3 decades, whatever. Okay, so thank you for watching out the video. If you have any questions, put your questions in the comment box. You can send a DM. Somebody from the team will reply. Don't use the word DEPLOY in your language, neither in the coding world, neither in the offline world, and try and see what can we achieve in next couple of hours. Thank you for watching out the video. Have a great evening ahead. This is IST time zone. This is supposed to be 18, not 9 IST, Indian Standard Time. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great day ahead.